Let me go to Heston Russell now, who's a former Special Forces Commando. And he's actually a Senate candidate in Queensland for the Australian Values Party. Thanks for joining us, Heston. I'm keen to talk to you on ANZAC Day because you've been so prominent in fighting for the rights and services for veterans. We're getting a lot of focus on that from both major parties. Do you feel that we're starting to make progress and that the problems with mental health and re-equipping for civilian life and new careers, is there enough support there now? Are we heading in the right direction?
Hey, g'day, Chris. Well, I think we're in an election cycle and all of a sudden veterans are suddenly becoming a topic of conversation and all of these campaign promises are coming out. But mate, the last 2 years have been the worst I've ever seen in our veteran community. That's why we're in a Royal Commission that's now been extended through a year. That's why I've spent the last month travelling around the country meeting with veterans who haven't fired their weapon system in 18 months. One veteran here in Brisbane has self-isolated 10 times after being a close contact, manning borders, manning hotel and quarantine, supporting the Northern Rivers floods, and our Defence Forces hollowing out. More veterans, more experienced Afghan and Iraq veterans are leaving. The exodus is greater than the current recruitment. And when the government is saying that we're going to grow our Defence Force to 80,000, the largest since it's been in Vietnam, I know from the lads and ladies on the ground that that's not a reality. And the human capability that is the fundamental for every piece of equipment and asset we purchase is being hollowed out.
Yeah, that's a very important point because they're looking to massively expand the numbers in our Defence Force, and so you've got to have morale. You've got to be able to retain people as well as recruit new people. I spoke to Phil Thompson earlier in the program, and we talked about the impact of COVID restrictions on previous ANZAC Day ceremonies and the like. Has that been a really big factor in the veteran community, as apart from dealing with all the issues that you're having to deal with, especially mental health? You've been doing this at a time where there's been so little social connection, where people have actually been isolated.
Yeah, absolutely, Chris. Our Defence Force has been doing everything but preparing for its primary role over the last 2 years. It's definitely been fantastic in stepping up when our servicemen and women have been called into action to support in Afghanistan, to support in Tonga, to support flying Bushmasters over to Ukraine. But as you were just speaking with your last person regarding what's going on in the Solomon Islands, we have been caught sleeping at the wheel. Our foreign policy is currently not integrated enough with what we should be doing in our region. And those personnel, again, are those who are being left to leave our Defence Forces. As you know, over the last 2 years, we've had everything from the Chief of Defence Force and Chief of Army basically hang some of our soldiers out to dry. And there's a crisis of leadership within our Defence Force as well. And the servicemen and women on the ground are there and carry those values that we sit here today and commemorate and reflect upon back that our ANZACs forged in Gallipoli. But they need to be better led, they need to be better supported, and they need better policy around them that sees them getting back to their primary role and being able to conduct proactive actions in our region to better circumvent actions like China has done in Solomon Islands, and also their earlier moves last year with looking to establish a $1 billion fishing facility in DARWIN, Papua New Guinea.
Heston, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks, Chris.
Heston Russell with some disturbing insights there about morale in the Defence Forces, and especially with some of those comments and some of those findings regarding alleged war crimes. It's a difficult period for Defence personnel and for Defence leadership. Whoever wins the election, that's on the to-do list very high indeed.